distinction and grace of bearing, if a man would not be mistaken for a waiter. Man's conceit is not love of himself, but of his fellow man. The man who is in love with himself need not fear that any woman will ever become a serious rival. Not unfrequently, when a man asks a woman to marry him, he means that he wants her to help him love himself, and if, blinded by her own feeling, she takes him for her captain, her pleasure craft becomes a pirate ship, the colours change to a black flag with a sinister sign, and her inevitable destiny is the coral reef. Palmistry does very well for a beginning if a man is inclined to be shy. It leads by gentle and almost imperceptible degrees to that most interesting of all subjects, himself, and to that tactful comment, dearest of all to the masculine heart: "You are not like other men." A man will spend an entire evening utterly oblivious to the lapse of time when a woman subjects him to careful analysis, but sympathy rather than sarcasm must be her guide, if she wants him to come again. A man will make a comrade of the woman who stimulates him to higher achievement, but he will love the one who makes herself a mirror for his conceit. Men claim that women cannot keep a secret, but it is a common failing. A man will always tell some one person the thing which is told him in confidence. If he is married, he tells his wife. Then the exclusive bit of news is rapidly syndicated, and by gentle degrees the secret is diffused through the community. This is the most pathetic thing in matrimony, the regularity with which husbands relate the irregularities of their friends. Very little of the world's woe is caused by silence, however it may be in fiction and the drama. In return for the generous confidence regarding other people's doings, the married man is made conversant with those things which his wife deems it right and proper for him to know. And he is not unhappy, for it isn't what he doesn't know that troubles a man, but what he knows he doesn't know. The masculine nature is less capable of concealment than the feminine. Where men are frankly selfish, women are secretly so. Man's vices are few and comprehensive, women's petty and innumerable. Any man who is not in the penitentiary has at most but 3 or 4, while a woman will hide a dozen under her social mask and defy detection. Women are said to be fickle, but are they more so than men? A man's ideal is as variable as the wind. What he thinks is his ideal of woman is usually a glorified image of the last girl he happened to admire. The man who has had a decided preference for blondes all his life finally installs a brown-eyed deity at his hearthstone. If he has been fond of petite and coquettish damsels, he marries some Diana moulded on large lines and unconcerned as to mice. A man will ride, row, and swim with one girl, and marry another who is afraid of horses, turns pale at the mention of a boat, and who would look forward to an interview with his Satanic Majesty with more ease and confidence than to a dip in the summer sea. Theoretically, men admire reasonable women with the uncommon quality which is called common sense, but it is the woman of caprice, the sweet illogical despot of 1,000 moods, who is most often and most tenderly loved. Man is by nature a discoverer. It is not beauty which holds him, but rather mystery and charm. To see the one woman through all the changing moods, to discern Portia through Carmen's witchery, is the thing above all others which captivates a man. Deep in his heart man cherishes the Dorcas ideal. The old lingering notions of womanliness are not quite dispelled, but in this, as in other things, nothing sickens a man of his pet theory like seeing it in operation. It may be a charming sight to behold a girl stirring cheese in the chafing dish, wearing an air of deep concern when it bunnies at the sides and requires still more skill. It may also be attractive to see white fingers weave wonders with fine linen and delicate silks, with pretty eagerness as to shade and stitch. But in the after years, when his divinity, redolent of the kitchen, meets him at the door, with hair dishevelled and fingers bandaged, it is subtly different from the chafing dish days, and the crisp chops, generously blackened with charcoal, are not as good as her rarebits used to be. The memory of the silk and fine linen also fades somewhat, in the presence of darning which contains hard lumps and patches which immediately come off. It has become the fashion to speak of woman as the eager hunter, and man as the timid, reluctant prey. The comic papers may have started it, but modern society certainly lends colour to the pretty theory. It is frequently attributed to Mr. Darwin, but he is at times unjustly blamed by those who do not read his pleasing works. The complexities in man's personal equation are caused by variance of three emotions: a mutable fondness for women, according to temperament and opportunity, a more uniform feeling towards money, and the universal, devastating desire, the old, old passion for food. The first variant is but partially under the control of any particular woman, and the less she concerns herself with the second, the better it is for both. But she who stimulates and satisfies the third variant holds in her hands the golden key of happiness. No woman need envy the Sphinx her wisdom, if she has learned the uses of silence, and never asks a favour of a hungry man. A woman makes her chief mistake when she judges a man by herself, and attributes to him indirection and complexity of motive. When she wishes to attract a particular man, she goes at it indirectly. She makes friends of his sister, his cousins, his aunts, and assumes an interest in his chum. She ignores him at first, and thus arouses his curiosity. Later she condescends to smile upon him, and he is mildly pleased, because he thinks he has been working for that very smile and has finally won it. In this manner he is lured toward the net. When a girl systematically and effectively feeds a man, she is leading trumps. He insensibly associates her with his comfort, and thus she becomes his necessity. When a man seeks a woman's society, it is because he has need of her, not because he thinks she has need of him. And the parlour of the girl who realizes it is the envy of every unattached damsel on the street. If the wise one is an expert with chafing dish, she may frequently bag desirable game, while the foolish virgins who have no alcohol in their lamps are hunting eagerly for the trail. Because she herself works indirectly, she thinks he intends a tender look at another girl for a carom shot, and frequently a far-sighted maiden can see the evidences of a consuming passion for herself in a man's devotion to someone else. Men are not sufficiently diplomatic to bother with finesse of this kind. Other things being equal, a man goes to see the girl he wants to see. It does not often occur to her that he may not want to see her, may be interested in someone else, or that he may have forgotten all about her. There is a common feminine delusion to the effect that men need encouragement, and there is no term which is more misused. A fool may need encouragement, but the man who wants a girl will go after her, regardless of obstacles. As for him, if he is fed at her house, even irregularly, he may know that she looks with favour upon his suit. The parents of both, the neighbours, and even the girl herself usually know that a man is in love before he finds it out. Sometimes he has to be told. He has approached a stage of acute and immediate peril when he recognizes what he calls a platonic friendship. Young men believe platonic friendship possible. Old men know better. But when one man learns to profit by the experience of another, we may look for mosquitoes at Christmas and holly in June. There is an exquisite danger attached to friendship of this kind, and is it not danger rather than variety which is the spice of life? Relieved of the presence of that social pacemaker, the chaperone, the disciples of Plato are wont to take long walks, and further on, they spend whole days in the country with book and wheel. A book is a mysterious bond of union. and by their taste in books do a man and woman unerringly know each other.